Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. We're going to finish out this weekend's special selection. I know we've had a lot of them in a row. This is number 9, and hopefully you found many of this stuff enjoyable. I know we had a bit of a theme running there in the middle of the week with some prog stuff, but we checked out something a bit heavier yesterday, so hopefully we got a little bit for everybody. Today, we are going to check out a request from Daniel Mellon. It says, on one hand, I'd love to read a reaction from the Swedish post-rock PG.Lost with the song Icaros, but on the other, I'm very curious about your take on Clowncore, Flat Earth, which is like John Zorn meets Dillinger Escape Plan meets Venetian Snares. But finally, I decided on the beautiful Marillion, the Invisible Man. Had me going there. Quite a roller coaster of thoughts and requests. So, we are going to check out The Invisible Man by Marillion. And first thing that sticks out to me is the song is 13 minutes and 37 seconds long. And I'm sorry, I have to announce the elephant in the room. That is 1337. So, this song is quite leet. Let's get into this and see what's going on. Alright, that opening ambient was a bit odd for me, but I'm digging this. Yeah, we got a real chill groove, a little bit of a haunting atmosphere. Those ambient tones, man. Alright, we got a little bit of positivity here. Maybe like hope, but that just kind of went back into some tension. Loving that bass tone. And the bass spotlight, really letting that bass breathe in this track. Song's got a lot of twists and turns. I have no idea where this is going. I can barely follow what's happened so far. There's still a little bit of ambience, but when did that acoustic guitar get in here? Yeah, so a lot of that hopelessness, that sort of negativity that we saw at the beginning, a lot of that tension, it's sort of fading away for this positivity, this hope to kind of shine through. I'm really digging that. Tension's coming back. That last section was pretty cool. Kind of gave me a sense of sort of weightlessness, soaring. Like a heartbeat, quiet. Picking up intensity. Those double accents on, I think, the snare. It's a little confusing. It's in 4/4, but accenting the 4 and the 1. Oh no, it's not just 4 and 1. It's like 3/4, and then like 3/4/1, and then 4/1. Weird accent pattern. Loving that bass line still. Yeah, tossing some eighth notes in there on the drum.
Somewhere up high, as you cross the park in the autumn light, in the autumn light, in the autumn
I think that's one of the few times I've heard a strong volume dynamic transition like that, immediate, abrupt work, and it used the snares like an explosion or a gunshot sounds.
I will wrap my arms around you. You won't hear, you won't feel me. I will walk stride for stride with you. I will try to help when you stumble.
It's also interesting, the last section was heavily layered to the point where some things were getting difficult to listen to, and this song gives everything a ton of space to breathe. Everything's used so sparsely here. I have read all your letters. I know what you contain. I have dreamt your dreams. My head is haunted. My head is haunted. I will scream again. I am perfectly safe. I'm perfectly safe. But I am the invisible Interesting.
Talk to me, acknowledge me, confide in me, confide in me. Oh, leave me free, leave me
So yeah, that was a wow. I find it very interesting, and I think I'm going to expand on this later once I kind of lay down some groundwork for my analysis. But I find it interesting that at the end, his vocal style becomes desperate. There's anxiety to it. There's sorrow. There's rage. He says he wants to be acknowledged. He wants to be seen. And his voice he was actually doing something interesting with his vocal style. I think he was going for a distorted mixed voice. I think he was definitely a bit higher than um, his range, his that he's comfortable in. So he's kind of moving into like a mixed head and chest, and I think he was going for a distorted feel to that too to make it kind of sound like yelling, but it wasn't coming through. It actually got quieter. I don't know if that was a mix thing or what, or if that was actually his voice giving out. I'm not sure, but yeah, there's definitely some negative aspects, negative emotional value to his voice at the end. However, the music was triumphant, and I'm not really sure if it was sort of an anthem encouraging him to scream to the world, "Hey, acknowledge me, check me out, I'm here," or if it was sort of a futile attempt at yelling into the void, "Hey, I'm alive, check me out." Um, but yeah, that sort of the music and the vocal pattern, the vocal style, were a bit at odds for me, and I'm not not really sure why, but I have a theory. We're gonna get there. So we're gonna go back to the beginning, and I'm gonna try to hit as many points as I can remember. Um, I will probably only have a lot of things to talk about the beginning and end because that's how memory tends to work. That's like Psych 101. If you have a list of things, you'll remember the beginning and end, and the middle gets kind of muddy. So that's probably what's going to happen here, but we're gonna give it a shot. So the beginning starts, lots of ambient noises, sort of creepy ambient noises that gave me some cringiness, like some shivers up the spine. They were very odd. My ears did not like them. Um, and the music was overall sort of haunting. A lot of negative qualities to them. The vocals were very lackluster. They didn't have a lot of strength behind them. They were very airy, as if he didn't have the energy to say what he wanted to get to actually say. And then I remember like it was 1 bar or 4 bars. It was very brief. We had sort of an uplifting section, and I said it kind of sounded like hopefulness, and then we went right back into the haunting, the sort of despair. And then after that, the next thing I really remember is the sort of soaring section. Um, we had lots of layers in there, and to me it was release. It was, freedom. That's the kind of feeling it was for me. Um, and then there were some sections in the middle that I kind of zoned out on and just kind of took an adventure. And the music took me to a lot of places, both ups and downs. Um, and then when I really remember kind of engaging the analytical part again, we were at the end, and we were sort of bouncing back and forth again between really negative haunting sections and more positive hope or freedom, whatever you kind of want to call that. And then we had the big build up, hyper layered, just tons of stuff going on. To me, it was more of a positive area, even though it had heavier instruments. I think we had a couple of distorted, like guitars or something in there as well. It was definitely the heaviest part of the song, but I think it was also the most positive part of the song as far as emotions go. And then we had the big snare hit that led us to the quieter section, and that's kind of where the ending started. And we built up a little bit from there before the actual ending of the song. And that is sort of my feeling about this song. It is very much a roller coaster. We got highs, we've got lows. And there's also a recurring theme, at least that I saw, was opposites. There's a lot of juxtaposition going on here. We have hopeful, positive sections, even just bars, showing up against more oppressive, downtrodden sections. We have sparse, extremely sparse sections happening immediately after massively filled sections, just pushing the sound into every corner of the sound sphere before cutting 90% of it out and letting instruments breathe in their melodic writing. Um, and all of this, I think, really comes together and ties up at the end where we get both at the same time. And I'm not really sure what to make of all of this. It is a lengthy song. There is a lot going on. There's a lot going on both in musical composition and what I think is intended emotion. But if nothing else, then the emotional roller coaster I went on as a listener. It is just an extremely complex song. I am not going to get it all on a first listen. I would be surprised if anything I say I get right, being that it's my first listen. Um, but yeah, so let's dig into this a bit. Um, there's also about juxtaposition. There's the idea. I picked up a couple of the words. Um, at one point in time, he was talking about how he sees this other person. He sees them in their house. When he closes his eyes, he can see them far away and stuff like this. Um, and there were a couple other lines about seeing things, and that I think there's a fighting of concepts about seeing things and being seen, being part of that which is observed. And I believe, as the invisible man, the character of the story of the song does not feel like they are part of the observed world. They feel like an outside entity, an outside force. So you have that juxtaposition too, where they are an actor that is not like what they perceive the rest of their surroundings to be, the rest of their environment. They feel like an outsider. Um, so you have these juxtapositions butting heads, these opposite ideas coming up against each other throughout the entire song. I think it's a really cool motif to pop up constantly. And like I said, not even just in the music, not even just in the mix, but also in the lyrics themselves. So I maybe I'm just looking into it, but I'd say that that was an intended motif, and I enjoy it. I think it's really cool when you can mix your lyrical narrative and your musical narrative, or your musical components and your lyrical motifs and themes. I think that's one of the areas where music really comes together. You can write fantastic music that is moving. You can write amazing lyrical lines that are moving. But I think that music's strength as an art form is to marry the emotion of music, more of the subjective emotion of music, with more of the objective storytelling of poetry. And when they come together, you can get stuff that is vastly greater than the sum of its parts. And I think this is one of those songs that just nails that. Um, yeah, just start to finish. So many ideas that just work well on every level of the song. Um, well, that was a little scary. I'm guessing the bug guy is here spraying down the outside of the house. I just hear this scraping on my window. Um, so yeah, I got to get back in this headspace. So yeah, like the whole song has these juxtapositions, these ideas um, about opposites coming together. And I think so much of this song just kind of works with that. If we go back and kind of look at some of the things I already brought up, we have the beginning where you have your hope or your positively pocketed into some of the more tense sections, but then also immediately after that, we have some uplifting parts, and then of course what I call the freedom section, the part that feels like we're soaring, that we're actually being able to do whatever we want, and it doesn't feel so oppressive. Those are back to back. Like I said, the second part's even sprinkled into the first for a bar or whatever for some foreshadowing, I would assume. And later on, we have the lyrics. I mentioned that he um, sees somebody else, and he's made a couple of mentions about seeing things around him. And then in the very end, he demands to be seen. He doesn't feel like he is. Everybody else has the luxury of being seen, and he does not feel like he does. So we have that juxtaposition. And then, like I said, in the middle-ish end somewhere, we had the huge section just got real big, real huge, tons of layers, and then it ends with the snare hit into like a drum and bass piece with light lyrical work, and the guitar shows up once every 7 beats or so with a little lick. It's just extremely minimally used. A lot of it is done very minimally, and to hear that contrasted with the maximalist writing just before it, where we had so many lines that were sort of stepping on each other's toes, they were getting cluttered up. It was a very chaotic section as far as the mix goes, and as far as your melodic lines having space to shine through and giving space to other instruments, and not doing any of that, everything just kind of being clustered up into this space. It can't be a coincidence we have so many opposites slammed right up against each other, only beats apart. So yeah, I don't know if I have any exact things to talk about, but I think that theme right there is sort of my big takeaway, is juxtaposition of opposite ideas and how often it shows up. Um, I do need to listen to this again though, and hopefully, I don't know, some people might think me tuning out in the middle of just enjoying the ride is sort of the way to listen to it. But I think I do need to give it a second listen and not allow myself to do that and continue to engage with some of those aspects in the middle. Um, but there does seem to be a bit of repetition and minimalism going on throughout a lot of this song. And I think that that minimalism, first of all, really allows the ending to be impactful. We have two larger settings at the end, the maximalist, ultra filling up the sound sphere concept, and then the ending where there's some positivity in the music. There's quite a few instruments playing. I'd say five, six, seven, and then him doing his demands to be seen and stuff like that. It kind of has a bit of a larger than life ending to it, and a lot of the minimalism in the middle really helps the ending have its punch. Um, However, like I said, those middle sections, there really wasn't a lot going on in them, and that's probably why I just kind of flipped over to the emotive side and just kind of chilled and soaked in the emotion and sounds that were being thrown at me. And yeah, it's um it's a roller coaster of a song, that's for sure. There's a lot going on here, and I think it's a very smart song though. I do. From beginning to end, there seems to be a central theme interweaving and welding every single aspect of the song together, whether it's the overall compositional roadmap or the lyrics or emotive delivery, sound sphere, everything is just tied up very neatly with a bow. And I can, we've had a couple of people from bands or artists comment on the channel on the video that I actually check out from them, and they're like, yeah, I appreciate that you brought this up, and this is actually why those things happened. Um, Most recently, a few days ago, the composer and engineer for Shy Malaganar, I can't say, I'm barely remembering the name. I don't know if I could say it without the word in front of me. Um, Anyways, left a lengthy comment about some of the decisions that went into the writing and mix of the song we checked out, which was Transients. And I love that. There's so much good information that you're not going to be able to get from anybody other than the person who wrote it, the decisions they made in writing it. And hopefully somebody from this group who wouldn't mind talking about it, I hope they come up and comment on this and let me know what's up, because I have a lot of questions, especially how close I am with that theme. I don't know if that was intentional or not. I know when we talked about one of the Wintersea songs, I mentioned that there is a motif of half steps. There is a lot of riffs going on that were based on half steps. And the guitarist commented on the video. He's like, yeah, that was not something we intended to do, but it's pretty cool that, it popped up in there. And I'm curious if my theory about opposite ideas and juxtaposition is intentional in this song, or if it just happens to be a happy accidental theme that ties up the song very neatly. It seems a little too coincidental to me, but I guess there's a chance that it is just a coincidence. Um, so yeah, that's me. Those are my thoughts on Marillion's The Invisible Man. This is where you guys come in, hit me up in the comments, let me know what you thought, or if you enjoyed things, if you didn't enjoy things. If you went on a little journey, like I said, this song took me on a little adventure there in the middle, and I'm really appreciative for it. Not many songs I've mentioned in the past, not many songs really get me to check out and sort of just meld into them, and this one did. So I appreciate it when it happens. It's a very cool meditative um, event that I don't get to experience too often, and I enjoy it when it happens, especially now that I've had a lot of people explain to me, how it helps them, and I'm like, okay, I'm coming around to this. I'm starting to dig it. So yeah, it's all a learning process. I'm still learning how to do some of this cool stuff that you guys already do with music. Um, so yeah, when you're done commenting, you can check out the description box. There's some links in there adjacent to the channel, such as the Patreon, which helps keep this channel going, and the Discord server, which is the central place for the community to exist and chat and participate in events. I'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 p.m. UTC. We'll be looking at Gent. I believe Tesseract is going to be our band tomorrow. I think they were leading the polls. Um, last I checked yesterday. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they won the poll. If not, they're probably definitely Tuesday. But we'll have some Tesseract this week. I know some fans, and we won't have any Periphery. I know we have some Periphery fans out there. I can't react to Periphery music. We made a special exception with I think it was Loon a while back with a special selection. I had heard it before, but it had been a while. But I'm a Periphery fan. I've heard all their stuff. It's kind of hard to have a true reaction, even though I know a lot of people view them as synonymous with gent. It would be like doing death metal without checking out death. Not that we've done that on this channel before. So yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, remember to stay critical, not cynical about the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos.